Most High has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. One of the things that we never want to do is take advantage of the breath of life that the Most High has given us, to be able to wake up this morning, to have our bodily functions, to be able to see, to be able to hear, to be able to walk, to be able to talk, and most of all, to be able to come and worship before Him at His feet. So we don't ever want to forget that. As we sing the Shema, I just want to read from Deuteronomy 6:3, and it says, "Hear, therefore, O Yasharel, and guard to do it, that it may be well with you, and that ye may increase mightily, as Yahuwah Elohai of your fathers has promised you, in the land that flows with milk and honey. Oh, hear, O Israel, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah is one. And you shall love Yahuwah Elohai with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them upon the posts of your house and on your gates." Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Shema Israel, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad. Shema Israel, Shema Israel, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad. Shema, 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 come on. Shema, 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 Shema Israel, Shema Israel, Yahuwah is one, Yahuwah is one, Yahuwah Echad, Yahuwah Echad, Yahuwah is the one, Yahuwah is the one, Yahuwah Echad, Yahuwah Echad. All together now, Shema Israel, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad, Echad. Shema Israel, Israel, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad, Shema, 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 Shema Israel, Shema Israel, rise up, Yasharel, rise up, Yasharel, Yahuwah is the one, Yahuwah
to do it, don't we?
Leave that one for
You're not going Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom Aleichem, all that.
That's right. Aleichem.
It is me again, Aki Ori. And today I'll be, Ori Ivri now. Yep, Ori Ivri now. And today I'll be giving out the lesson. And, I just hope that this will be an edifying thing and just a nice little reminder as we go forward as to, as you can see the title, praise is the greatest weapon, which is, it's not an understatement. Like if you're not using this, you are seriously handicapping yourself as a believer of the way.
Out of one kind.
It's like going and trying to go into a battle with no magazines in your weapon. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and move forward. All right, we're gonna start off with our motto, it's per usual. And 1, 2, 3, ready, go.
Learning to walk through obedience to the Torah together, building an Ahava and Anba from the Ab to Yelad and Ruach Yeshua ben Yahuwah.
All right. As the title says, it's pretty plain and simple. Praise or die, like literally. So we're gonna start off though. Since praise is a weapon, you want to have your full armor on. You usually don't want to be trying to fight a battle in just your skivvies. So we're gonna go to Ephesians 6, Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 18, and I'm gonna go ahead and just get that just to start it off, and then if you want to have somebody to volunteer for Miriam, then someone for Hannah, and then David, and then we'll pick.
I'll get David.
All right.
Somebody get that Miriam. We just sang it. Shouldn't be that hard.
You want us all to just grab one, or?
Yeah, you can grab one, and then I'll probably rotate back in and huh?
No, sir.
You
got it. Okay.
You got Miriam? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and armor up. So this is Ephesians 6 and 10, an oldie but a goodie, but a good reminder of you gotta have your basic equipment on, because if you don't, you go into battle, you're gonna fall.
Out of one kind.
So it starts off at verse 10, chapter 6. Finally, my brethren, be strong in Yahuwah and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Elohim, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities, against the powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Elohim, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Therefore, having your loins girded about with the truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the sword of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of Yeshua, and the sword of the Ruach, which is the word of Elohim, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Ruach, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all Kodashim. There we go, from head to toe, from the the helmet of faith, right? To your feet shod, and the Basora. So that's just the basics of your uniform that you be having on daily as a believer of the way, as they say. And can we go ahead and get Miriam's example of faith.
Exodus 15, 19-21. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil. My lust shall be satisfied. I will draw my sword, my hand shall destroy them. You do with your will, the sea covered them. They sank as lead in my waters. Who is like unto you, O Yahweh, among the elements? Who is like you, glorious in holiness, fearful in praise, doing wonders? You stretched out your right hand, the earth swallowed them. You, in your mercy, have led forth the people which you have redeemed. You have guided them in your strength into their holy habitation. The people shall hear and be afraid. Sorrow shall take hold on the inhabitants of Kedeshah. Then the dukes of Edom shall be amazed. The mighty men of Moab, trembling, shall take hold upon them. All the inhabitants of Canaan shall melt away. Fear and dread shall fall upon them. By the greatness of your arms, they shall be as still as a stone, till your people pass over, O Yahweh, till the people pass over, which you have purchased. You shall bring them in and plant them in the mountain of your inheritance, in the place, O Adonai, which you have made for you to dwell in the sanctuary, O Yahweh, which your hands have established. Yahweh shall reign forever and ever. For the horse of Pharaoh went in with his chariots and with his horsemen into the sea. And Yahweh brought again the waters of the sea upon them. For the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea. And Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. And Miriam answered them, Sing ye to Yahweh, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider has been thrown into the sea.
There you go. That was an example of like the Most High literally delivered us out of Egypt the first time. And we're gloriously waiting on that day the second time. But as you can see, it is a pretty much almost a required obligation that you give praise before and after blessings and before and after miracles. Because I think we'll read later on in one of the scriptures that it says that anytime you give praise, it is forever in the heavens. So you have a track. If you've given praise with a willful heart, a joyful heart, and a thankful heart unto Yahuwah, that is a track that he likes to play over and over on repeat. So you have made it on his playlist. So can we go ahead and move on to Hannah, for example. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verses 1 through 10. Okay.
Samuel Rishon 2. And Hannah prayed and said, My heart rejoices in Yahuwah, my horn is exalted in Yahuwah. My mouth is enlarged over my enemies because I rejoice in your Yeshua. There is none holy as Yahuwah, for there is none beside you, neither is there any rock like Elohim. Talk no more so exceeding proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth. For Yahuwah is an Elohim of knowledge, and by him actions I weigh. The bows of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumbled are girded with strength. They that were full have hired out themselves for bread, and they that were hungry ceased, so that the barren was born 7, and she that has many children is waxed feeble. Yahuwah kills and makes alive. He brings down to Sheol and brings up. Yahuwah makes poor and makes rich. He brings low and lifts up. He raises up the poor out of the dust and lifts up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. for the pillars of the earth are Yahuwah's, and he has set the world upon them. He will guard the feet of his Yaqib, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. The adversaries of Yahuwah shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them. Yahuwah shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his king and exalt the horn of his anointed.
Hallelujah.
Again with the horns, he loves horns. And just another example of what Yahuwah does. So when we see somebody become, rich in the earthly sense, it was Yahuwah's doing, and when we see someone brought low, it is Yahuwah's doing as well. So it's just a reminder that even though you are putting in, your work, your time to obtain a certain skill, so you can be compensated for your time in a fair manner, it is still Yahuwah who decides whether or not your fruits will be something that you will be able to partake of, or you might have to consider a different route. And then let's go to David's example. I like David's example. Did anybody already have it, or I'll get it?
That'd be me. I'll grab it.
All right.
That's 2 Samuel 22, y'all. And David spoke to Yahuwah the words of this song in the day that Yahuwah had delivered him out of the hand of all his enemies, and out of the hand of Shaul. And he said, Yahuwah is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. The Elohai of my rock, in him will I trust. He is my shield and the horn of my Yeshua, my high tower, my refuge, my savior. You saved me from violence. I will call on Yahuwah, who is worthy to be praised, so shall I be saved from my enemies. When the waves of death compassed me, the floods of wicked men made me afraid. The sorrows of Sheol compassed me about. The snares of the death prevented me. In my distress I called upon Yahuwah, and cried to my Elohim, and he did hear my voice out of his temple, and my cry did enter into his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations of heaven moved and shook because he was wroth. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed to the heavens also and came down. He bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon a cherub and did fly, and he was seen upon the wings of the wind. And he made darkness pavilions round about him, dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. Through the brightness before him were coals of fire kindled. Yahuwah thundered from heaven, and El Elyon uttered his voice. And he sent arrows and scattered them, lightning and discomfited them. And the channels of the sea appeared. The foundations of the world were discovered at the rebuking of Yahuwah, at the blast of his breath of his nostrils. He sent from above, he took me, drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy, and from them that hated me, for they were too strong for me. They prevented me in the day of my calamity, but Yahuwah was my stay. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me, because he delighted in me. Yahuwah rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanliness of my hands, as he recompensed me. For I have guarded the ways of Yahuwah, and have not wickedly departed from my Elohim. For all his judgments were before me. As for his statutes, I did not depart from them. I was also upright before him, and have guarded myself from my iniquity. Therefore Yahuwah recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to my cleanliness in his eyesight. With the merciful you will show your merciful, and with the upright man you will show yourself upright. With the pure you will show yourself pure, and with the froward you will show yourself unsavory. And afflicted people you will save, but your eyes are also upon the haughty, that you may bring them down. For you are my lamp, O Yahuwah, and you will lighten my darkness. For by you I have run through a troop, by my Elohim have I leaped over a wall. And as for Elohim, his way is perfect. The word of Yahuwah is tried. He is a buckler to all them that trust in him. For who is Elohim? Save Yahuwah. For who is a rock? Save our Elohim. Elohim is my strength and my power, and he makes my way perfect. He makes my feet like hinds feet, and sets me upon my high places. He teaches my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broken by my arms. You have also given me the shield of your Yeshua, and your gentleness has made me great. You have enlarged my steps under me, so that my feet did not slip. I have pursued my enemies and destroyed them, and turned not again until I have consumed them. And I have consumed them and wounded them, that they could not arise. Yea, they are fallen under my feet. For you have girded me with the strength to battle. Them that rose up against me, you have subdued under me. You have also given me the necks of my enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me. They looked, but there was none to save, even unto Yahuwah, but he answered them not. Then did I beat them as small as dust of the earth. I did stamp them as the mire of the street, and did spread them abroad. You have also delivered me from the strivings of my people. You have guarded me to be head of the heathen. A people which I knew not shall serve me. Strangers shall submit themselves unto me. As soon as they hear me, they shall be obedient unto me. Strangers shall fade away, and they shall be afraid out of their close places. Yahuwah lives, and blessed be my rock. Exalted be Elohai, of the rock of my Yeshua. It is Elohim that avenges me, and that brings down the people under me, and that brings me forth from mine enemies. You also have lifted me up on a high above them that rose up against me. You have delivered me from the violent man. Therefore I will give thanks unto you, O Yahuwah. Among the heathen I will sing praises unto your name. He is the tower of my Yeshua, for he is king, for his king, and shows mercy to his anointed, unto David, and to his seed forevermore.
Yeah.
So, does anybody have any questions or input they'd like to put in themselves? I mean, it's pretty, David was pretty adamant.
And them heathens, huh? Oh my goodness. For the strangers.
We were just saying real quick that the beginning when he was reading, that there was like Psalms 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's repeating himself a lot. And I noticed that too, especially when it says like the rock of my Yeshua. That's in several places.
Yeah.
So I kind of wonder if they're repeating stuff that they've already heard. You know what I'm saying? Like you already heard somebody sing this, or you heard them say those words.
Right.
And so now you're just proclaiming it over and over and over in different situations. You know what I'm saying? Because we know that, I don't know what the timing is as far as with the Psalms and with Samuel, but what the timing is. You know what I'm saying?
Like which came out first, Psalms?
Yeah, like if he
Yeah.
was writing, going through these things, because a lot of the songs is him going through stuff, and
Right.
he's singing, So I'm wondering if it's kind of like hand in hand,
Right.
like that, okay, he's writing some of these things, and then he's also saying some of these, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I don't know which one came first, but
Yeah.
it just seems like a lot of them say a lot of the same stuff.
Well, I mean, they say in the Hollywood realm, struggle, breeds really good out. You hear about some celebrities going through some sort of trouble, and then like that following album that they're working on as they were going through that struggle ends up being a hit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we know David and Solomon, they went through struggle, so.
Yeah, that's what it
It's interesting you say that, because as good as you say that, in my opinion, it's just, I guess it's always good to remember that this is a collection of separate books. It's just, separate books. It's like with 80, I guess, with the Apocrypha, 66 right without, but And so it's separate books, and all of a sudden Psalms comes along, and now we get a chance to read this book, right?
Yeah.
When Samuel was already created.
Right.
You know what I mean? Possibly. But it's set. My thing is it's separate. It's separate books, and now we amalgamate them and then say, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
this all has a constant,
A
flow of
No, and
everything.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not flowing like that. Like, it's not like, oh, I wrote Samuel and then I wrote Psalms and then I wrote, I mean, y'all don't know how much time in between.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
400 years or something like
the
that. It took
scribes
the
are
amount,
even just listening. 'Cause
yeah.
It's not necessarily David that's writing.
40
It's a-
different authors. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Or more with the Apocrypha. Yeah,
Right.
you're
And
right.
then someone to even step back and say like, okay, let's put all these books basically together in one big book.
Right.
And it's not like, all the authors of the books, like one or two people. Like Stephen King, he's written tons of novels. But, they all say Stephen King. He might have had some help, but y'all know there's Stephen King. But like, who would have thought like, okay, this guy named Paul, he wrote one, let's put this book. With this guy, with Moses, who wrote one, and it's all interconnected.
What they call them, ghost writers.
Yeah.
Ghost writers, people that never get acknowledged for their input for something. Like, you never know they had any part of it until maybe later on.
Yeah.
They might interview that celebrity or interview that author, and the author might say, oh, I had influence from Denzel Washington. He sat down with me one day and he said, then, but it's not even quoted or included in that. So yeah, I mean, it can be just different people that's bringing their input, But collectively, I feel like this is the way Israel fought.
Yeah.
Like, in spiritual.
Like I would wager to guess. Like I read, what was it, the Battle of Jericho last night, and I didn't include the scriptures in it because it really kind of didn't tie in because it wasn't at least wasn't obvious and concrete because it says they walked around the city blowing the trumpets with the ark, but it makes it seem like all they do was just like walking, and that was it. But I would wager to guess if we could have take a time machine back, it was probably praise. It was probably praise. Because it wouldn't seem to me like if Yahuwah's going to tell you to do something like that, you're going to just do it like, okay guys, it's day 3 now. Carrying a heavy ark. It seems like they would have a joyfulness, and they'd probably make it a party. I bet if you were the enemy nation, Jericho, watching, you'd probably think, why are they so happy walking around that city? What's going on? It seems like something like that would happen. According to the script, it seems like they were just walking because they were told to walk and blowing the horn accordingly. But I would wager to guess you could probably get done with your task quicker if you did it with a joyful heart and you're doing it with praise. Because apparently, on the very last day in the Battle of Jericho, they go around the city 7 times. So in my head last night, I was thinking, well, San Antonio is the biggest city in the U.S., in the continuous U.S., not counting Alaska, when it comes to land mass. And there's, like if you had an entire nation, I don't think there's any way, unless, they were bigger people, maybe even faster, and they were carrying the ark and the entire campus, or whatever, but I'm thinking Jericho wasn't as big as we think, but apparently the wall was still a problem.
Right.
Because you could get around it in a day and still have time to go back to your camp and eat. And then wake up early the next morning and do it. So, and you had to accomplish this all before what? Sundown, because you weren't working after sundown. You didn't have a sunlight. You didn't have infrared goggles or anything like that back then. So I would guess by the time the 7th day comes, they walk around 7 times. The town was big, but apparently it must not have been that big, because to do that 7 times, then say, okay, now you're gonna fight. But they probably didn't have to do much because the wall was destroyed. After that, but it's just, it's amazing to why, as to like with praise, it makes anybody from a young Yalad to the eldest Ab or Ema, they're all just as strong, like one strong unit when you praise. When you are praising in unison and have a joyful heart about it, it makes you a strong, lethal weapon against the enemies of darkness. Because they can't stand. Imagine like, Junior. So something happens and something scares him. But he remembers that, if I sing this song, this praise song, things get better. And he's just as lethal as the person that knows, that has 20 of the books of of Torah or the entire Bible memorized verbatim. He's just as lethal as that person. So that's why praise is literally praise or die. So, and just a quick, I guess, intermission, like, I just don't understand, those of us in the walk and those of us who are, say they follow the walk like the other Christian denominations, but they're very minimal in their praise. It's like, why would you're handicapping yourself. You're handicapping yourself. Like, look at all these examples from people you are well familiar with to the most important person at the end. They all praise.
Right.
They all had that ammunition in their magazine. So, but with that, let's go on to Solomon. I'll go get Shlomo. Okay, I was going to Solomon, but it's right there on the screen. It says 1 Kings chapter 8.
Yeah.
First Kings chapter 8, verse 14. And the king turned his face about and blessed all the assembly of Yasharel. And all the assembly of Yasharel stood. And he said, Blessed be Yahuwah, Elohai of Yasharel, which spoke with his mouth unto David, my father, and has with his hand fulfilled it, saying, Since the day that I brought forth my people Yasharel out of Mizraim, I chose no city out of all the tribes of Yasharel to build a house, that my name might be therein, but I chose David to be over my people Yasharel. And it was in the heart of David, my father, to build a house for a name of Yahuwah Elohai of Yasharel. And Yahuwah said unto El David, My father, whereas it was in your heart to build a house unto my name, you did well that it was in your heart. Nevertheless, you shall not build the house, but your son that shall come forth out of your loins, he shall build the house unto my name. And Yahuwah has performed his word that he spoke, and I am risen up in the room of David my father, and set it on the throne of Yasharel, as Yahuwah promised, and have built a house for the name of Yahuwah Elohai of Yasharel. And I have set there a place for the ark, wherein the covenant of Yahuwah, which he cut with our fathers, when he brought them out of the land of Mizraim. So, I guess I probably should have put 22 in there. And Solomon stood before the altar of Yahuwah in the presence of all the assembly of Yasharel, and spread forth his hands toward heaven. And he said, Yahuwah Elohai of Yasharel, there is no Elohim like you in the heaven above or on the earth beneath, who guards the covenant and has mercy with our servants, that all that walk before you with all their hearts. And then, who has kept your servant David, my father, that you have promised him? You spoke also with your mouth and have fulfilled it with your hand, as it is this day. So, let me go ahead. Yep.
Midstream, that's all right.
Adapting. As you can see, even Solomon, after being given the ability and having some, forced labor from demons to make the temple, successfully completed his task, and upon completion of his task, he knelt down in front of the altar and gave Yahuwah his just due praise. let's go to Elizabeth, John's mother, because she was not expected to even be able to bear a child. Who?
So this is, it's me.
Okay.
So this is Luke. Okay, Luke 1, verse 5 through 25. So I'm going to read the KJV. It says, there was in the days of Herod, the king of Judea, a certain priest named Zacharias of the house of Abiah. And his wife was of the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. And they were both righteous before the Most High, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of the Most High blameless. And they had no child because that Elizabeth was barren, and they both were now well stricken in years. And it came to pass that while he executed the priest's office before Elohim in the order of his course, according to the custom of the priest's office, his lot was to burn incense when he went into the temple of the Most High. And the whole multitude of the people were praying without at the time of incense. And there appeared unto him an angel of the Most High standing on the right side of the altar of incense. And when Zacharias saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. But the angel said unto him, fear not, Zacharias, for thy prayer is heard, and thy wife Elizabeth shall bear thee a son, and thou shalt call his name John. And thou shalt have joy and gladness, and many shall rejoice at his birth. For he shall be great in the sight of the Most High, and shall drink neither wine nor strong drink, and he shall be filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, even from his mother's womb. And many of the children of Israel shall he turn to the Most High their Elohim. And he shall go before him in the spirit and power of Elias, to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just, to make ready a people prepared for the Most High. And Zechariah said unto the angel, whereby shall I know this? For I am an old man, and my wife well stricken in years. And the angel answering said unto him, I am Gabriel, that stand in the presence of Elohim, and I am sent to speak unto thee, and to give thee these great glad tidings. And behold, thou shalt be dumb and not able to speak until the day that these things shall be performed, because thou believest not my word, which shall be fulfilled in their season. And the people waited for Zechariah and marveled that he tarried so long in the temple. And when he came out, he could not speak unto them. And they perceived that he had been waiting in the temple. And he beckoned unto them and remained speechless. And it came to pass that as soon as the days of this ministration are accomplished, he departed to his own house. And after those days his wife Elizabeth conceived, and hid herself 5 months, saying, thus hath the Most High dealt with me in the days wherein he looked on me to take away my reproach among men.
So she conceived, and again, as a result of that, gave praise. I'm sure they were giving praise after they were given the prophecy from Gabriel. And it's just, again, like, it's more than just reading scripture or just being obedient. Part of being obedient is giving praise, because if you're doing so with a willful, joyful heart, the Most High will bestow miracles and blessings upon you.
No. Continue on.
Will bestow blessings and miracles upon you and your bloodline that will, echo throughout history, or at least, continue to be a blessing and protection over your future bloodline.
Okay, so I wonder, because reading that, like, that's my first time that, like, I really honed in on the whole thing that the Most High made him to not be able to speak. But I wonder if the reason why he did that is because he had all those examples previously to know what Yah says that he's gonna do. and to not question like what y'all already said, because he already did it with Abraham.
Yeah.
You know, he's already done it like before that you have the prophets already. Like so you know what I'm saying? So I wonder if the Most High was like, you're a priest. Like you should, this is something, like now you should believe me because y'all are charged to do some things that other people don't get to experience.
Yeah.
Like going behind the veil and, you know, stuff like that. So I wonder if he was like, oh, well, yeah, I'm going to have to do this to you because it specifically says because you believe not.
Wow.
That's what it said. It
Yeah.
said that he made him that he couldn't speak, but he didn't do that to Sarai when she questioned how can she have a baby at this age.
It's like there's varying levels,
There's
right?
levels.
Just like if you're a doctor, there are certain rules and statutes you got to keep from the normal person.
Yeah.
Like you can't just willy-nilly prescribe a prescription without having a confident diagnosis of what the person is going through, your patient, and things of that nature. And he was like basically, he's doing his task every day as a Levite. He's going behind the veil. He's doing well enough to where when he goes behind the veil, he's not dropping dead. And for whatever,
This is faith alone.
and for whatever reason, he still had that little mustard seed of doubt.
Yeah.
And so the Most High was like, all right, look, just shut up.
Yeah.
I'll handle it. Just go home, make love to your woman. And then, she comes up and she gives John. And
when they found to be perfect though, they were found to be perfect.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know. As perfect as you've been this whole time.
yeah, it's perfect as y'all been.
Like thinking he had to teach, like I bet, like we have John, not John, but Zechariah, or even John himself, or Aaron, and like, okay, so how we gonna do this Pesach? And we start off like, no, he just slaps us in the face, like that's not it at all. I'm like, okay, and he had it right, and he still, for whatever reason, had that shredded out. So, like after hearing,
This is a human. It's a human.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
You notice that often when they don't have children young, the first thing they say, oh, I'm old.
Yeah.
How am I gonna have a child? I'm old.
come on.
That's what Sarah did. That's what Abraham did.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm old, and my wife too. She's old.
Yes.
He doesn't think like that.
Double.
You know what I mean? So as human beings, we like, but how can this happen? Because we are so adventurous, and we didn't have children all these years when we were in the prime. How you
Yes,
call
when
it?
you should
In
be
the prime years.
childbearing age. Yeah.
So we all have like, I mean, come on, if you all have like that $0 saying, how is that gonna happen? I'm like past expiration date. You know what I mean?
yeah, like, I can understand.
It's like,
It's kind of weird, like, I guess even when you're a leader, a spiritual leader of your community, there still could be doubt for, whatever reason, just being human.
And it wasn't counted unrighteous for it, the Most High just shut him up.
Yeah.
And I wonder if y'all
Right.
said just close his mouth like this so that he doesn't say anything else that
Could
get
mess it up,
deeper.
don't mess it up.
Yeah, like they can testify against himself because I mean, we know being made perfect through Torah, but like you said, you're still human, so you still have human emotions that come with something. Y'all says the house is gonna sell, but let's just say all this stuff is crazy or whatever, but do you really believe that it's gonna happen when you can't see?
Yeah, like you can't even.
When there's a
don't know
physical,
how it's gonna happen.
yeah, when there's a physical block.
Yes.
Like if y'all says, oh y'all gonna be in Africa next year, and you're like, oh, but I don't have money to go to Africa, I don't have a passport, I don't have.
Yeah.
Then you start questioning, and he's like, but I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to see people to see that you're a person and you've been able to be in somebody else's life and see miracles done. Pray for people, see healings happen, see bones be repaired and all this stuff, and then for whatever reason for yourself, you're just like,
You don't believe it?
You don't believe it
You
for
know what I'm
yourself.
You
saying?
believe it for others, but you don't
It
believe
happens,
it.
man. That happens, man.
That's it. Right.
And we're on Mary now. We're moving on to, the mother of Messiah. But not in the Catholic way, but, she was the biological gene giver of Messiah.
So it's Lucas 1:46 through 55. And Mary said, my soul magnifies Yahuwah, and my ruach has rejoiced in Elohim my Savior. For he has regarded the low estate of his handmaiden. For behold, from henceforth all generations shall call me blessed. For he that is mighty has done to me great things, and holy is his name. And his mercy is on them that fear him from generation to generation. He has shown strength with his arm. He has scattered the proud in the imagination of their hearts. He has put down the mighty from their seats and exalted them of mighty. He has filled the hungry with good things, and the rich he has sent empty away. He has helped his servant Yasharel in remembrance of his mercy, as he spoke to our fathers, to Abraham, and to his seed forever.
Who else said, I've known not a man? Mary. She also said that she didn't know, but she wasn't punished for it. So it makes me kind of start thinking, wait a minute.
You pregnant, what?
Well, yeah, but you know what? But he did deal with Moshe when Moses wasn't believing. He did, maybe he feels like at that time, well, the Most High knows what he has to do to convince a person of a thing. Because with Moshe, he did, turn his hand a different, and kind of got mad at him for it. He kind of got upset with Moses for questioning him. But he let it happen. So it makes me be like, oh, okay, well, it's a degree, obviously, that the Most High is, not saying that he doesn't do things to women, but I'm just kind of like, okay, but Sarah didn't get punished for her doubt. Sarah's not getting punished for her doubt in believing that thing. But I do remember that Moshe, so maybe the Most High, like you said, it's a degree to it. There's levels to the thing, to where he knows what needs to be done to convince you that a thing is going to happen.
Just like in a modern day court situation, right? Let's say somebody's having an asthma attack or needs insulin. You're told by the professional, hey, go get this bottle that looks like this. It's the insulin this person needs to survive. You grab the bottle, that's exactly what they say, but it still wasn't the correct one. You might accidentally injure the person further or maybe even kill them. Well, in the court of law, you're going to be prosecuted differently because it wasn't a knowing act that you were trying to kill the person or hurt the person. And two, you were, going off of instruction that was given to you, and you were trying to do your best to be obedient. So, to be lenient or quit the trial entirely. So, and that's the thing, because when you call it, that's why I'm careful. People are you a prophet? No, just a regular guy. Because if you want to be or try to declare to be something like a prophet or put yourself in a lofty sense of spiritual leadership, Most High is going to hold you to that, and your standards are going to be higher, and you're going to be held more accountable.
Okay.
So, and in those instances where if you're calling yourself the spiritual leader of a group or something, and you yourself aren't, ready to take on the brunt of that, and you have some sort of doubt that can cause you to blaspheme or something like that, then the punishment's going to be more severe than just the average Joe who's coming into a walk trying to figure everything out. If you already said, hey, I want to be in this leadership role, well, you got leadership responsibility. And you get leadership consequences when things don't work out.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Or you don't follow instructions.
That matches what we talked about for the last day of the Lebanon with Shafir. When we talk about Adam and Shua, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about. Yes, men are responsible. Women are responsible for what they do. There is a greater responsibility on the men that is supposed to cover and direct and instruct the others. And not only his family, but that can be brethren, So of course there will be a greater consequence for them, or Or also, he can also do it to show to others.
Yeah.
Like,
An example.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Because we don't know how many people were looking at
Right, that's looking at Zacharias,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
As an
yeah.
example
Oh,
of,
yeah.
you know,
He's taking
of
care of the
righteousness.
incense and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were looking at him and then they're like, oh,
This is a righteous man.
you know, so.
So if the Most High will shut him up, what will he do to you? Like, if this is a man that is supposedly walking in righteousness, because that's what it says, right? And he stumbles, how much more so should you know that the Most High will deal with you? Because like you said, it could be an example that God's using to be like, I'm making an example out of you for my glory. I'm not hurting you per se. It's not like you said it.
He didn't drop it.
Yeah, he didn't drop it.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't kill him.
Yeah, he didn't. Like, hey, I'll lose the speech for a couple weeks. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. My heart still beats. Like,
Right.
so,
Because
yeah.
he's telling him how great his son's
That's
gonna
it.
be.
Yeah.
So it's not about the number of children, it's the quality.
And he's like, and he's probably like, and I'm not even gonna let you go tell anybody what it is that I told you, because you're not gonna be able to say even that my son's gonna be great, and you guys are gonna, you know, like you never know.
Yeah. Imagine, right? Like the parent of Elon Musk, like my son's gonna be a billionaire. Yeah, you're gonna be paying it into
Elon
his
Musk is
account.
nobody.
But I think he was
To
already
his
rich.
parents, I mean, if they knew,
If they knew, you know what I'm saying? If they had an idea. A lot of people they do that, they get it. I think but Bill Gates' parents invested into him. It's a few different people. Yeah, it's a few
Yeah, when
different
he
people.
decided to quit and
okay.
the ideas they invested in his idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where they leave Ivy League schools and they get loans from parents. It's kind of crazy.
Such a
So he basically
Yeah.
one day decided to drop out of school and by himself build up his company.
He has support.
It wasn't like, underdog stories.
No, they get money from their parents, man.
Yeah,
They-
living in the
Small
garage.
$1 million.
It's not pursuit of happiness.
Now, there are a lot of people like that. There are a lot of people like that, but that's not them. Dude that started Under Armour, he was living in his car.
You said Under Armour?
Dude that started Under
Oh,
Armour
see,
was living
so
in his
that's
car.
one of them.
He was willing to take that. What's the one dude? Mark Cuban. He was living with like seven other roommates, living on the floor. But he did that though just to be able to kind of like move around. But still, I mean, he was willing to do that, to be available.
That's the dude that owns the Mavericks or
Yeah, Dallas.
Dallas Mavericks,
Basketball, right?
Yeah,
basketball team.
right. There's a lot of people.
And Shark Tank, that's the Shark Tank.
Yeah,
right?
Shark Tank.
Right. Sorry about that. I know we ain't going that
We
route.
squirreled, but we squirreled into a good
There you go.
John the Baptist.
What's the purpose? Hey, believe in your children.
Yeah.
there you go.
Who knows? You know
If the
what
Most
I
High
mean? Believe in the
tells
Most
you something
High.
about your
obviously.
children, believe in that.
Yeah.
And make sure we
She want to give them a cool name.
cultivate it.
Yeah.
Cultivate whatever that it is that Yah has spoken over your children.
Right. Because a lot of our people, y'all know the deal in our culture. Like it's like you ain't never been.
Talking positive.
Oh my gosh, man. Us specifically, you know what I'm saying? Us specifically. Anyway, go ahead.
Now,
I don't want to bring it down.
The next example is an example of if we don't want it as Israel, if we don't want the blessings and the promises that Yahuwah gave to Abraham, there's a Gentile out there who will take it.
Oh, I see it.
They'll
You
be
don't
more
want
than-
it?
Let's go to
That's how we work.
Luke 17. Does anybody want to get it? Or if they don't, I'll just get it. It's fine.
I got it.
Okay.
Alright, 17, verse 11. And it came to pass as he went to Jerusalem that he passed through the midst of Shomerone and Galil. And as he entered into a certain village, there met him 10 men that were lepers, which stood afar off, and lifted up their voices, and said, Yahusha, Rabbi, have mercy on us. And when he saw them, he said unto them, Go show yourselves unto the priest. And it came to pass that as they went, they were cleansed. And one of them, when he saw that loud voice and glorified Elohim, and fell down on his face at his feet, giving him thanks. And he was
A Samaritan.
Samaritan.
and Yahusha answering said, "Were there not 10 cleansed? But where are the 9? There are not found that return to give glory to Elohim,
That's a
save this stranger."
shame.
And he said unto them, "Arise, go your way, your faith has made you whole."
There you go. That's an example, man. So, like, go out. You might be born Israel, but that don't. You might be born Jacob. That don't mean
They with your
you're
inheritance.
gonna become Israel. And, like, it's crazy how a lot of us give up our inheritance. You like at least those of us in the Christian faith. I mean, you still got a shot, but like, you know, we all know those of us who have turned to Islam because they say they don't want to worship a white man, but there's really a white man that runs this.
You talking about Nation of Islam?
Yeah, or they turn Buddhist or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, you just throwing away your inheritance, but you can't. You want to be nice and like, hey man, this is like I'm not just saying this because I want to get you to pay tithes into my church. I'm saying this because this is the inheritance that you were giving up. And
There was so many deception in the church. That's why it's very hard. Like a lot of people were so deceived. They're like, I'd rather be a Muslim.
Yeah.
You know.
No, for real. It sounds better. And then it's perception too. Like when you see them together, have you ever seen when they meet how they all stand up at the same time, sit at the same time? I mean, it's like I mean, they're all standing. All the women are dressed like to the T and Y. I mean, it
might seem
looks
more organized.
Yeah, it
and that might be one of the
seems
things.
more realistic. Like it's like, oh well, they say they live like this, and they look like they look like they're living like this. When there's something in their community, they rush to go help their community. So you say all day about Nation of Islam, but if something happens with somebody, they come to that person's rescue per se. You don't see a lot of that in the news that somebody's saying, oh, this person from Nation of Islam got into a situation, and it's normally the other side, the other type of Muslim stuff that they're kind of coming down. But when it comes to that, those people band together.
They have that situation.
You know, they do. They band together. They have stuff, and then all of a sudden you see it comes up in the media, and then it's like
they don't. You don't hear
it
about
dies down because they protect their people, and it's not about it like you said, the time thing. Like, what do you have to gain? Like, I don't have. If somebody's telling you you can be free from what you believe is oppressing you, that's what they sell to our people. They sell a sort of freedom from the man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And who doesn't want that?
Yeah.
But then you're still a slave.
Exactly. You
So like, if you put two and two together, like Malcolm X did, they eventually take you.
Oh, they take you out.
They take you out.
Yeah. They're gonna kill you. Yeah.
It's like you. It's like, oh man, it looks really good because you get the prize and the cash money and the prizes. You know, you get immediate ties for business, stuff like that. Like I mean, I rarely know a Muslim poor person.
No.
Like anybody that's like in the IT realm, like it's not just them that's doing well. It's like them and their entire family on both sides, mom and dad. Like they all doing well. They might not be, you know, on the table like John Wick's family, but like they got carpenters, they got people that can come, you know, fix up their house or do whatever they need to do to get stuff done.
They have a community.
They have a community.
Which nation is this?
You know, Islam.
Oh, Islam, yeah.
You don't see that.
We're the only ones that don't have a community.
You talking about NOI or you talking about just
Islam.
like a Sunni or
yeah, like even if they're like even
they're Arab or something.
Yeah, just Arab. Like even when I witnessed, like when I was over in Kuwait and I helped with the evacuation of the Afghanis, so they would get their heads lopped off. Like they were still like they didn't have much, but they were together. The tribes stuck with their tribes, and they would fight tooth and nail against another tribe, and they had no qualms about it. And then it's just like with us, you know, because the curses are on us.
That's it.
It's really, that's it. It's the curses are on us. And because the curses are on us, it's like most of us don't even want to, we don't want to do the homework to understand why. We're just like, well, whatever, I'll just go be with whoever. As long as I can get some money and a spot of my own, and you know, and be at least okay in the system, you know, I'm not really trying to worry about reunite with my people.
And the Most High knows his people. He knows that if a man rises up, we will follow him. We will follow that man and we won't give y'all the glory. Like he knows this about us too. So it has to be him. Like it has to be fully like this is the Most High. Because as soon as somebody rises up, the Most High has to allow that person to come down because Israel's always looking for a king. Whereas the other people can serve whatever God they want to serve. He's not saying he doesn't care. I'm just saying like we are.
Yeah, they have a lot less deep consequences.
Right, the consequences for us doing it. So it's like in a way he's just like gets those people.
Like, because he's like, I'm your king,
exactly.
not King David.
Not King Jujubee.
Yeah, not King
Down the
Jujubee.
road.
Whoever, yeah.
What'd you say? What's it?
whoever the latest guru is, or
Oh my gosh.
the latest civil rights activist is, it's me.
The Yahweh guy.
Now, if whoever was going to be the latest civil rights activist or whatever, or like a TD Jakes, if they would say, hey, look, it's not me, it's all Yahuwah, please don't, you know, don't what's the term I'm looking for?
Idolize.
Don't idolize or exalt me. Don't exalt me, just the book and Yahuwah and Yeshua. And I think we'd have that unity, but it's because people have joined the banner of, you know, I'm a TD Jakes person, I'm a Nation of Islam person. It's like that we just say scatter. If all our major leaders, whether they're Islam or Christian or whatever, if they say, look, man, take this book, read it for yourself. Here are these laws, statutes, and commandments. Yes, the Levitical laws are done away with, but these feast days are not. If they would just do that, that's immediate unity. Even if, you know, as everybody's trying to figure out how to properly do them, that would eventually build to a cohesive people. But of course, because of Amalek, they can't afford to let that happen. Because if they let that happen, I mean their time is up. So, you know, we're just gonna have this division until Messiah comes back and forces everybody to recognize whether or not you were with or against them. But let's see. Let's go to Paul's example in Philippians chapter 1, 3 through 11.
Nobody else got it? Otherwise I'll get it.
I was gonna get it. I have read it, well, I haven't.
Yeah, you have.
Oh, okay.
Get somebody in the back. Get somebody in the back to get it.
Alright, where's Yirmiyahu?
There you go.
2 through 11?
Yep, 3 through 11.
Everybody there?
Hallelujah. I am.
I thank you, Lord, upon every remembrance of you. I always, in every prayer of mine, for you all, make request for good. For your fellowship in the gospel from the first day until now, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Yeshua HaMashiach. Even as it is meet for me to think this of you all, because I have you in my heart, inasmuch as both in my bonds and in the defense and confirmation of the gospel, ye are all partakers of my grace. For Yahuwah is my record, how greatly I long after you, all in the bowels of Yeshua HaMashiach. And this I pray, that your love may abound yet more and more in knowledge, and in all judgment, that ye may approve things that are excellent, that ye may be sincere and without offense for the day of Mashiach. Be filled with the fruits of righteousness, which are by Yeshua HaMashiach, into the glory and praise of Yahuwah.
Paul's example. Paul was definitely all about Yahuwah. So much so that people were confused by him.
Yeah.
as the old scripture says, his ways are not our ways, and our thoughts are not his thoughts.
Yeah.
That's roughly paraphrasing. I think Paul was probably the closest person to kind of get an understanding of Yahuwah's ways, because the way people debate him, you make it seem like he was like, blaspheming them, like holding the torch to the cross or something.
And he goes back to Melchizedek.
Yep.
And that's the thing that a lot of them didn't do. And so it was weird for people to understand because it was something that was from the beginning. So it's like he took them back to the order of Melchizedek instead of taking them just back to Aaron. And that's what a lot of them
Got
would do.
confused by, yeah.
They would just go back to the not perfect place. And he's like, no. There's something before
Yeah.
this that is perfect. Uh-oh. So I think that's why people switch Paul's words, because they don't understand the order of Melchizedek.
Oh, God.
You gonna get it.
There's some technical difficulties. There you go.
So thank you, y'all.
Thank y'all for being patient, those that are watching live.
Patience.
I know. And here is the patience of the coach.
And then, probably the next best example of praise is that we literally have one book that has literally almost 200 other chapters in it just for praise. Just for praise. I want to go to Psalms 23 just because, we sing it. It's actually really short. I thought it was longer. And as long as we sing Psalm 23, I thought it was like a 20-verse chapter.
Wow.
And then there's ad-libs.
See, all the ad-libs, I'm thinking.
Just imagine that's how it would have been.
Yeah.
That's how David did.
7 songs.
I
had a little acoustic.
was like, I'm
Water out here, boy.
I'm gonna do a lesson now. I'm gonna put Psalm 23. It's gotta be it's probably like 40 verses. I get in there 6. I was like,
Yeah.
6.
You got it? You got that, Kenny? Shall I ain't 23?
We can just sing it.
Yep.
I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the cycles of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, thy comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of Yahuwah forever.
Hallelujah.
There you go.
Yeah.
What is it?
There you go. It's right. Sing it, baby. Sing it, baby.
I even like that, when we were doing praise and worship today, Kai, the other Kai, the smaller Kai, he was like, Yahuwah? I was like, no, man, go ahead. He's like, I'm not going to get slapped. I'm not going to say Yahuwah. Like,
Yeah. Look.
why are you crying? You got plenty of oranges. There you go.
That's what I share. Sharing is caring.
Now, this was the next one in Luke was a very good example of. It's like there's just stuff you hear growing up as a child. You're like, okay, even the rocks will cry because I heard, the elders say that plenty of times in church. You don't really get it, but like it hits harder. Like I was reading it last night, I was like, dang. And this is the reason. Well, we'll read it and then I'll talk about it. Okay, so Luke 19, verse 37 through 40. Because I wish it's really just 40, but to get a context, you want to at least start at 37.
Yeah.
All right, so is everybody there for me? Go ahead and read it. And when he was come nigh, even now at the descent of Mount Olive, the whole multitude of the Talmudim began to rejoice and praise Elohim with a loud voice for all the mighty works that he had seen. For all the mighty works that they had seen, saying, "Blessed be the King that comes in the name of Yahuwah, peace in heaven and glory in the highest." And some of the Pharisees from among the multitude unto him, "Rabbi, rebuke your Talmudim." And he answered and said unto them, "I tell you that if these should hold their peace, the stones would immediately cry out." So, for context, this is after, I think, the crucifixion, right? He's just risen. He's coming down from his, the only person ever to temporarily borrow a grave. And they're coming down, celebrating his return. And for whatever reason, the Pharisees want to hate and say, tell him to shut up. Tell him to be quiet. And it's like, why would I do that? Because the rocks will cry out. So, I mean, they are kind of living things. But it's crazy because you hear that. You're like, if no one else will praise Yahuwah and Yeshua, the earth itself will. Because it is a living thing.
We are his creation.
Yeah.
Still, even if we are in a higher form, that he made us a little
we
below
got
the
10 fingers and toes.
Right, exactly. Even though we may be a more sophisticated according to the world creation,
A more
we are
sophisticated
still,
organism.
exactly, we are still his creation. So if the rocks cry out because we won't do it, I mean, doesn't it say that the earth is gonna cry from the blood that was shed? Yeah, like, so it didn't make sense then.
No.
All the stuff that we sang about the rocks and all those things, it didn't make sense. It just seemed like some strange metaphor, but now it makes sense because it says everything. Yeah.
And then, they have, in the secular science world, which there's nothing really wrong with science as long as it's not trying to be used to disprove the Most High. Because science used to be used to understand the creation that the Most High made. Used to be understand, so you could either help take care of it better or repair it. Try to be appreciative of what the Most High gave us. But now they try to use science continually to disprove. But even now, modern science will say that you can cut open some rocks and they are bleeding. It means they are living. They're not just minerals. You cut it. There's a rock you can cut open. It is literally bleeding, blood, red blood. And so it makes sense that if it got to that point, that the earth itself was just like, okay, well, somebody has to fill this void. It's going to be me. So I don't know what type of blessing the earth would get from doing that, if that became the case, but apparently it's an option if it ever got that died. And then finally, the person we try to emulate, walk after while we're on this earth until he comes back the second time. Yeshua himself gives praise, and he does that in John chapter 6, verses 1 through 11. Jordan, you got it?
said this to test him, for he himself knew what he would do. Philip answered them, 200 denarii worth of bread would not be enough for each of them to get a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said to him, there is a boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish, but what are they for so many? Jesus said, have the people sit down now that there was much grass in the place. So the man sat down, about 5,000 in number. Jesus then took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed them to those who were seated, so also the fish as much as they wanted.
Not just a little, as much as they wanted.
Yeah.
That's my thing, your cup is running over.
Yeah.
Like, this is like one of those examples that he didn't just do the bare minimum. Because he could have just said, I'm just going to feed enough for you to have one piece, you have one piece, you have one piece. But he said as much as they can get their fill, like, as much as they want.
Yeah. That's crazy. And he did it all by giving praise as they are doing in their own way. that energy that the Most High gave them, they're returning it.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, like even the Most High, not the Most High, even Yeshua himself still gave praise, and he's as close as you're gonna ever get to the Father, but he still humbled himself and gave praise.
Right.
And which again charged him up, allowed him to accomplish a great feat that generation after generation, that the generation of Israelite grows up reading or hearing about today. And even those of other nations who do not subscribe to the book entirely, they all know about the 5,000 people that were fed from a few loaves of bread and 5 fish or whatever. It is. This is just an example of. This is just an example of if you use praise as it was meant to, and you are doing so with a beautiful heart, that you will be able to achieve miracles. And the miracles will help people to either bolster their faith or bring others into it. Because that's what we're called to do, right? Not just be Israel by ourselves, but to be a light and to show the other nations of the world that eventually you guys are going to be participants in this too. And it would be better if you get on now, so that way you don't have to pain later.
When they let children's church come in, like at the end, you know.
We're going.
Well, no, I got one more. Alright?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Now, this is a really good one. I'm pretty sure most of you guys haven't seen this video before. But it's a quick. It's a quick one. And it won't take long, but as the description says, this is a visual aid of the weapon we willfully.
So I try to stop it. Is this live? It's bad, man. Plus, I don't know about this short online anyway.
But yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to cut it down.
Oh, come on, man.
Alright, go ahead. I might cut it out later. Go ahead.
Oh, nobody clapping.
He trying to get his first YouTube straight. Go ahead. Go ahead.
There you go. Oh, wait. Before, I'm going to pause it.
See?
Where's the volume?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good one. You got the remote right there, right? Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. There's a snake with a bit. Let's see.
Yeah.
Which one is that?
That one.
That's it.
You gotta get the full HD Dolby Digital effect.
Alright, let's see what we got.
Because, they actually put it out too.
Yeah.
Ready? Check out what Tactical Turkey do.
example, he found a 50 cal standing up. You never
This is what we mounted. This is a mounted weapon normally. Normally you're do.
Yeah, you're either attached to a vehicle
Yes, no,
or you're on the
attached to a
ground when you
vehicle,
fire
on the
that.
ground, and it has to stand, yes, and it has to stand normally.
And that is just the
That's our weapon of praise.
Yeah, that's our weapon of
actually a good
praise.
visual.
That's what you are not using if you choose to be too cute and be a wallflower and not praise. I'm just letting people know because people don't understand. Like you can have script memorized and everything else, but like praise is the simplest way. Because like you could be in a dire situation, your enemies are all around you. If you start praising, they'll be like, the other nations will just call you crazy and walk away, leave you alone. Because they think you got some mental disorder or something. Yeah.
Kind.
But I mean that's it. Oh wait, before go back
Yeah,
to
you got one more slide. Yeah.
one more slide.
In this thing, yeah.
The last verse.
You already know.
There we go. Alright, in closing, 1, 2, 3. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim and guard his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For Elohim shall bring every work into judgment, every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. And then, Revelation, here we go. Here is the patience of the Kodashim. Here are they that guard the commandments of Yahuwah and the belief of Yeshua.